Last January, I read 15 books. And this past month, I also read 15 books. I don't know what I was on this month, but I was grinding through these books. I started picking up multiple at a time, which I think helped. I'm used to just reading one at a time and kind of going based off my mood, but I was in the mood to read multiples. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie and this is my September wrap up. As usual, I will be starting with the lowest rated book that I read all the way to the highest, and I did have a 5-star. The timestamps are down below. Starting with a 2.5-star read. I did pick up some more audiobooks this past month, and if you guys know or have watched my past wrap-ups, I have been totally turned off from audiobooks this year. I don't know why, but I did pick some up this month and I'm kind of getting back into the groove of them. Hollywood Dirt by Alessandra Torre. This book was not my cup of tea. It was set in Georgia in a really small town, and our main character is Summer and, oh good lord, I did not like him. What is his name? Cole. I had some issues with this book, okay? Cole is a superstar from Hollywood. Summer lives in a small town, grew up really Southern belle, like adorable. I thought she was great in the audiobook, did a really good job portraying that Southern charm, where Cole, being from Hollywood, is so out of touch with reality. And actually, when he came to this small town to do some filming for a movie that he's producing, he did some really questionable things, published I believe in 2015. It did not age well. I think the author meant a lot of this charm from this Hollywood star to come off really sexy, and it didn't. It came off really creepy. I did not enjoy the relationship dynamic at all. I thought it was really unhealthy, and I did not think that they should have been together. I liked Summer for what she was and who she was and the way she stood up for herself a lot of times, but Cole, I could not get behind their relationship. Moving on to the 3-star category, another audiobook that I picked up, and I actually listened to it in this vlog right here, so if you want some of my natural reactions, then you can go watch that. The Law of Moses by Amy Harmon, contemporary romance, small town, a little bit of paranormal activity in there. It's a little odd, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Moses, our main character, he can speak and see the dead, and that's as far as I'll go with his side of the story. But then we have Georgia, who is a small town country girl and falls in love with Moses at a really young age, and Moses has a hard time kind of coming to terms with that. A few years pass, they're grown up, and they happen to run into each other again. There is a little bit of a mystery in there as well. It was an odd romance book. Let me say that. But it was entertaining. I would recommend this book for certain people or certain times of year. I feel like September, October is a really good book to read because of those paranormal things, but I don't know if this book is for everyone, so I would have to really recommend it to a specific person. And it's kind of heartbreaking at times. There's a lot that goes on in this in this book. I thought it was overall okay. The next 3-star, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Love him. He's amazing. He's one of my all-time favorite authors. As you guys know, I've read almost all of his books. I always have a good time with them. I tandem listened and read this at the same time, so I did end up highlighting and tabbing some beautiful quotes, of course, because he's a genius, but the plot was a little scattered, a little all over the place, and not my favorite of his. Frederick Bachman's characters are usually flawed, and I actually really enjoy that in his books, but I could not find a single character in this book that I liked, and I think that was really hard for me. I did not like any of the people that this story touched on, but basically there's a hostage-ish situation going on, and it's about this father and son police duo trying to figure out why there was a hostage situation and why it failed, because it did not go as planned, and there's a lot of things going on in here. If you've never read Frederick Bachman, I would not suggest starting out with this. I would suggest starting out with A Man Called Ove, or Beartown even is a little bit more palatable. This one I thought the pacing was a little off and a little weird, so I don't think people would enjoy this one as much as a first Frederick Bachman book, but it's still worth it. If you like his writing, you're gonna like it anyway. Then, kind of a disappointment this month, I'm not gonna lie. I read A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This one was tough because I was looking forward to it so much. Our main character, Eileen, has a favorite book series, like most of us do, and she happens to fall into the world of her favorite book series. She meets someone and The way that that goes down was not good. Actually was DMing a friend about this book on Bookstagram, and we were talking about it, and I was like, he was so bad. Anders, I did not like Anders, the main love interest, at all. The thing he did at the end, and if you've read this, you know, he basically was like, I need to see if something will work out, so I'm not gonna be with you. Eileen was a second choice, and I did not like that. I did not like that. And I thought it was a little cartoonish, maybe because she's literally in the world of her favorite book, so it's not real. I had a hard time caring for our main character, which is not a good sign when going into a romance book. Moving to the 3.5-star category, I listened to The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I don't know what it was with my main male love interest this month, but holy, could not stand Charlie. Emma and Charlie are both screenwriters. Charlie is a very famous screenwriter, and Emma is gonna help him write one of the screenplays for a romance movie. He's never written a romance screenplay before, so she's coming in to help. And the whole book, Emma is trying to prove herself to Charlie. Like, Emma is so confident. She's like, I can do my job. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm also hot. I know I'm a good person. But Charlie, every single time, is like, you can't do shit. The one thing that I absolutely adored was Emma, and I enjoyed her family history. I loved getting to know her as a main character. Catherine Center's really, really good at her women's lit side of romance. So although I didn't enjoy the romance side, I loved the growth that Emma went through in this book with her family. That was what was so meaningful to me. I adored some of the quotes and some of the things that Emma was going through, but Charlie pissed me off. He also, kind of like in the Hollywood Dirt book that I read, was just so out of touch with reality. He was famous and had won so many awards, and he would say things that I wanted to backhand him. Like, I was like, you don't say that in real life. That's not, if anyone said that to anyone, it would not fly. Towards the end, it got cuter-ish, I guess, with the romance, but I was not the biggest fan of Charlie for about 90% of the book. Then I read a book that a subscriber actually sent to me, The Forgotten Beast of Eld. I've never read a book like this before. Our main character, Sybil, is a wizard, and she kind of controls these unique animals in her world or kingdom, and she lives on the mountain by herself. She's very secluded and kind of just does her own thing with her animals. I teared up at some parts. I was giggling at some parts. Really well-rounded book. But because I've never read anything like it, I didn't know how to rate it. It was a great book. I was entertained. I don't know if I enjoyed it like other fantasies that I've read, but I did enjoy it. So that's my overall rating. I don't really know what to think about this book. Now getting to the 4-star category. I had five, not 10, okay? 5 4-star reads. Throne of Broken Gods, book 2 in the Book of Azrael series. If there's one recommendation that you take out of this video, it's this series. The Book of Azrael, Throne of Broken Gods, just continuing with Diana and Sam Keel's relationship. The quotes that Amber Nicole can write have me swooning. This book was actually really hard, not to get through, but it hurt to read about because you were watching Diana. It's the aftermath of the first book, and the first book ended terribly, and you are just watching Diana ruin so many things, and you're sad for her. She's going through it. You're really taken on an emotional journey with this one. It is like this with her feelings and what she's going through, and you're getting multiple perspectives, so it's kind of nice that breakup. You get a little bit of sad with Diana, and then you get all of these other chapters with the other characters. We'll be picking up the 3rd book soon. I don't know when, but I will be picking it up, and this one, again, it has my heart. It's one of the best enemies to lovers series that I've ever read, and in this one, nope, can't say that, that's a spoiler. Just know the enemies is still strong, okay? The next book I'm not going to get because it's under a pile of 15 other books, but I will put it up on the screen. Listen for the Lie by Amy Tantera. Don't read a lot of mystery thriller, okay? It's not my favorite genre, but this book was so fun. If you're going to read it, please pick up the audiobook. I tandem read this. I have the physical hardcover, but I also listened to it when I could, and the podcast format that this book is in, that's probably my favorite mystery thriller type is when it's like either in a podcast format or there's 5+ narrators. It makes it so fun and interactive. So we have Lucy and we have Savvy. Lucy and Savvy are best friends, but Savvy was murdered. And everyone thinks Lucy did it. A man opens this cold case they can't solve. They can't prove that Lucy did it, but he opens it up and talks about it on his podcast, and it kind of blows up. He goes to this small town. Lucy's involved. They're trying to solve the murder. I would say a tad bit predictable. I think I did guess the ending on it. Not the ending, but I guessed who done it. It was so fun. I mean, as fun as a mystery thriller about a murder can get, it was fun. I'm so hot. I don't know why I wore this. The next 2 books are part of a series, and I already bought the 3rd book because of how much I'm loving them. Oopsies. Both of them I did give 4 out of 5 stars. The Prison Healer and the Gilded Cage. This is book 1 and 2 in the Prison Healer trilogy. Loving this world and these characters. It is young adult, and if you know me, I don't love young adult books. I really don't have a good track record with them, but this one just hits different. I think because of the dark topics at hand, the characters feel older. So our main character, Kiva, is a prison healer, and she's been in this prison for 10 years. She's had to survive. She's kind of learned the ways of this prison and how to survive. The twists and turns in this series, I don't see coming. Again, I'm a little gullible. I know it's young adult, but I don't care. Like, I fall for it every single time. I finished this last night and I was jaw-dropped. So shocked. Even all of the side characters I really love. So we have Jaren, Nari, Tip, Horan. He's kind of a new one, but I really like him. I heard that people were saying the series is boring. I do not think so. I think every book almost kind of has a build-up. You're gonna have to get through some boring or slow parts, but I did not think they were boring or slow. I thought they added to the story, and the foreshadowing is crazy. You can pick up on a lot of foreshadowing. Again, I think foreshadowing is meant to be picked up on in young adult books, so it's might be a little predictable, but I couldn't guess any of it. Loving this series. Like, if you have it on your TBR, you own the first book and you haven't read it yet, I recommend it. The next 4-star read was another mystery thriller. I'm actually shocked that I read 2 in 1 month because it's not what I typically do, but Hidden Pictures by Jason Ruchlack. I read this book in this video right here, so if you want to see my full thoughts and feelings, you can. That was one of my favorite videos to film, like, that I've ever done. It was so fun. I loved it. This was someone's 6-star read. Mallory Quinn is a recovering addict, and she is looking for a job. She ends up babysitting, typical, for a weird-ass family. For a rich, weird-ass family. And lots of shit goes down. But because she's a recovering drug addict, the end, oh my god, it was tied together so well. I was so scared for her and what she was going through and what she was about to go through. And the way that she was piecing everything together. This book does have actual pictures in it, so I would recommend physically reading this book to view, and they do add to the story. Teddy, the little boy that she is babysitting for the summer, sees a friend, Anya. And Anya happens to live under his bed and happens to be in all of the pictures that he draws. It's really creepy. Mallory is like, I hear you talking to someone during nap time. Who is Anya? And it kind of gets into this big mystery about the house that she's staying at and makes me want to read more books like this and in this genre. So yeah, a little spooky, fun, perfect for October if you're looking for something. You guys, I hate me for doing this, okay? Actually, let's just get right into the 4 and 4.5. So this is my last 4-star. Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, the 3rd book in the Magnolia Park series. And I gave Daisy Hates 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is book 2. I've said this on my Bookstagram already, but I hate that I love these books. I hate myself for it because they are so toxic and so unrealistic and so not believable, but they are so fun. And the quotes, you guys, Jessa Hastings. So I read Never by Jessa Hastings, I think in January or February this year, gave it 2.5 stars. Did not like it. I did think a lot of the quotes were very pretty. And that's exactly how I felt about Magnolia Parks, the first book. I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. And they just keep getting better and better. But I do like Daisy and Christian, their relationship a little bit better than I like Magnolia and BJ. Yeah. If you've read them, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't like that I like them, but I love them. London, Gossip Girl, This World, the crime lords, like everything in here I shouldn't like, but I do. So 4 and 4.5. And especially this one, I listened to it. So it was the first time that I listened to a Magnolia Parks book, and they have accents. So that was a lot of fun. I already ordered the next book. Actually, I'm actually really surprised that I'm loving that series because of how toxic they are. But I've said this before on my channel, my relationship with my husband is so not toxic. Like, it's the healthiest relationship that I just need a little bit of toxicity, and that's okay. I would never want it in real life, but I'm gonna tab and highlight the fuck out of those books. The next 4.5 star book that I read was Daydream by Hannah Grace. This was my book club book on Patreon in September. So if you want my full review and reading vlog, you can go join the Patreon. The book that we're reading next month is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. That book that's been popping off. We're excited for it. Mystery, thriller, historical fiction, you got it all. We've been waiting for Henry's book. Loved Hallie and Henry. I don't think I've related to a character more than I have Hallie. Hallie is a known people pleaser with her family, friends, ex, like she's been a people pleaser her whole life. We're watching Hallie grow into the person that she is always meant to be. I loved her character development and growth. Also loved Henry. His bluntness, he's so to the point, does not hold back his words. He has zero filter, but he has trouble expressing his feelings to his friends and family, but not with Hallie. It's adorable. Now, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars because I did not love the third act conflict. And I talk more about that on my Patreon, so. Okay, I don't know what that was. The last and final book, and the only 5-star that I had this month, and I'm not surprised. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. If you have not read a Kristen Hanna book, I'm embarrassed for you, honestly. Love the feelings I get when I read her books, and usually I end up crying a lot. And I did cry a lot, so that was fun. Kate and Tully are best friends, and you are watching them grow up together, become women, and go through loves and heartbreaks in their job. You are watching everything about their life through the decades, which was really fun because you got to see the decade itself, being immersed in that historical fiction element, but also them growing with the times. It was just so good. And I know that this is a TV show. I probably will watch the TV show one day, but the way that this one ended, I did not know going into it, so that was kind of nice. I didn't know anything going into this book, and I bawled my eyes out. And I think if I watched the TV show, it would actually rip my heart in two. So I don't know if I want to do that. Kristen Hanna, put her on a pedestal. I think I've had 2 5-stars from her just this year. Give me all her books. That is it for September. I read 15 books. It was quantity, one of my best reading months. 15 books. I haven't had that in over a year. And I had a great, like a really fun time reading this month. I think switching between audios and physicals. That is it. Thank you for watching. If you've read any of these or if you have any recommendations, please comment down below and let me know your thoughts and feelings. I will see you in the next video.